As you can imagine, it is a challenging, difficult morning. George is on the scene in Florida where another community is in disbelief, shocked by devastating violence, this time at that Florida high school on Valentine's Day.
Every single person up here today, all these people should be at home grieving. But instead, we are up here, standing together because if all our government and president can do is send thoughts and prayers, then it's time for victims to be the change that we need to see.
Are guns legal in your country?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. I'm from Spain, and there you cannot buy a gun, even though you're like 18 or 21. You have to have a special permission.
No, they are very difficult to get. I live in Brazil, and if you want to have a gun, you have to submit yourself to a series of tests and authorizations and registrations. So it's very difficult to get a gun.
Yes, they're legal, but there is a really long process to get them, so it's really hard. So first of all, you have to take an exam, which is really hard to pass. After you pass the exam, then a police officer comes to visit you, and you get questioned really thoroughly. You have a psychic analysis, you have a mental analysis. They look at your home, they look into your family, they do a lot of investigative research. They also get 3 people in the community that know you to do an evaluation themselves, and then after that's done, you either get approved or not, but the thing is you can only get approved for a pellet gun. Also, once you do get a license, there's really strict laws around where it can be locked, about how it's locked and about where it's stored, and you have to store the ammunition separately from the gun, so it's a really lengthy process.
So I'm actually from Lebanon and I live in Switzerland. And I want to talk about Switzerland because it's like a pretty special case. It's legal because everyone have a gun at his home after the mandatory military service.
Are you in favor or against gun control, and why?
I'm in favor in gun control for the sake that I don't think it should be that easy to get guns as it is now, but I feel like it's necessary to have guns for the sake of protection.
I think that more rules and regulations should be put in place overall, but I think they should definitely be allowed.
Definitely with gun control, because as you can see here in the US, what happened the previous month is like, it shouldn't happen.
I'm definitely in favour of gun control. It's worked really well in New Zealand. We've never had a history of mass shootings, although we have a really smaller population. We've never had any problems with like suicide or mass shootings or threats or anything like that.
I'm in favor of gun control because I think that they make people feel less safe. In the first place, this is a security question. Do guns make people safer or not? I don't think they do.
Here in the United States, you can have a gun or even a tank, even if you are like 18, so easily. And then you will have like these mass shootings. Like every week, there's at least one mass shooting, and that's what happens when you have gun control. Like, you don't have gun control in a country.
Okay, so would you completely ban gun possession?
No, I don't think so. I think just really just kind of the foundation of what we are as a country, just with democracy and like freedom of most things. I think everyone should have the right to be able to have a gun.
In my point of view, yes, we should ban it. Only military personnel should have the right to have gun with them.
I wouldn't completely ban it in America, but I would say they should definitely look to other countries like Spain and New Zealand, and I think we're a really good example of how we still have guns, but there's tighter laws and controls around gaining them, and I think America could definitely learn a thing or two from what we've done. I mean, there's 110 million guns in America, so it is going to be a challenge, but I definitely think it's a challenge worth taking, and I think that the current government should definitely take it seriously, considering, I mean, their really big history of mass shootings.
Do you really feel less safe here than in your country just because anyone could be walking around with a gun? And do you act different because of it?
Here, I feel that at any given point, anyone could, if I have like a really hot argument with someone, the person could have like, could be like crazy or could carry a gun, and this makes me feel like really uncomfortable.
Especially if I go out, even here in Champaign, which is a small town, anyone could have one. And especially when I go out at night, if a guy comes to me and is offending me, in Spain I would probably like answer in a really bad way to that guy. And here I just do act like nothing happened.
Do you know why guns became legal in the US in the first place?
No, and that's probably pretty sad.
So basically they became legal in 1791 when the British were attacking the US and the people wanted to defend themselves, so they decided to create a militia to fight them. So all of them could have like the guns on their homes and protect themselves. And then after that there have been like some regulations and some gun control policies, being the last one in 2018 with the Colombian disaster from the high school, but they've been really like small. Okay, so in that time, since 2018 there hasn't been anything, and there have been like a lot of like gun developments. And after knowing that, do you think this background has something to do with the opposition of so many people to gun control, even though times and guns are completely different?
In that time, this was like a necessity. They needed the guns really protect themselves. Nowadays, it's not like that. They're not. The United States are not in war anymore, so the conditions are a little bit different.
I feel like Americans, they just don't like change, specifically non-melanated people, and they just want to keep a hold of what was back then, even though things are different.
Though there is a huge amount of people demanding gun control, they are still very easy to acquire and especially maintain. Why do you think this is?
I think people's really concerned about their lives, and having things like what happened like a month ago in Florida, people is really concerned. And
as I mentioned prior to this, so guns are easily accessible for persons because of business. So they sell guns, they sell ammunition, which makes a lot of money, and there are big lobbies in the government. Yeah, as I said, I think that the American people, they have like appreciation for individual rights, and also I think that people who are against guns control, they feel safer when they carry guns, or even though they just want to have the right to carry a gun, and that's why I think that's really difficult to talk at that point. And also the gun lobby, they have really impressive strength. So it's really difficult to touch it at this point.
I mean, I don't really know how to explain it. I know, like, in my community, people have guns so that they can be safe, specifically, like, African Americans or blacks, because there's just a lot of stuff going on in our community, so we have guns to protect ourselves.
Having independence, freedom, and a free market is really important to Americans, so I can understand in that sense maybe it's a cultural, social construction why it's really a big deal over here. But like I said, I think they need to put aside personal liberty and think of their population, their people, and their future as a whole if they were to progress in the future, and avoid the tragic incidents that have been occurring.